Okay, good morning friends. Today we will have our essay lecture 5. We covered in other lectures of essay how to write an essay effectively, what will fetch you marks, then how to effectively cover the philosophical essays. The technique was told to you in form of Dean, description, exposition, arguments and narrative. Now, out of all the things which will fetch you marks is how are you able to find different dimensions of the essay, the topic which is given to you. That is very important, that you find different dimensions. This comes under the part of description itself. And as I see in most of the essay which I have evaluated for the test we conducted for our essay test 1, largely see there are two sets of people. Firstly, the marks range from 50 to 60. This is the range. Most of the students are scoring in this range. Now, how to ensure that we get our own dream marks? 75 to 80. That is our aim. But that will not come without any work. See, the thing is, you have to realize now the pattern has changed. It is not like earlier pattern where if you score 50% in essay, that was good enough. Now your potential to score in essay and ethics is very high, but you end up scoring 120, 130, 135. This is the marks gained by most of the students, and people make a difference by scoring 160. They may score 160 this year, but when again they write the main examination, they realize that they have scored again in this range or lesser than that. As I was talking to one of the aspirants, he scored 160 in first attempt, then it went to 135, finally he scored 110. Now you should not be shocked, surprised or disturbed because of these facts. It happened with him, but it does not mean that it will happen with you. What happens here in the UPSC case, we have so many stories, so many people talking about this happened with me, I scored very well, that time I did not study anything, but that next time when I prepared I scored very less. These are stories, firstly. Secondly, you need not bother about these stories. It may or may not be true. Okay. Second thing is, it is not your story, it is their story. The only thing which you can do is you can take the lessons out of it and always take the positive lessons. What is the positive lesson here? That yes, marks may vary. Of course, the thing is, the aspirants are saying we did not prepare in the first attempt, but second attempt we prepared and we scored less. The idea is that did you prepare in the right direction? The answer is no. As I have already told you, yesterday also when I was in the mentorship session with many students who are writing psychology, even psychology tests, there also I realized one thing. As we were discussing a concept of intelligence, in that the way intelligence has been dealt in the class, content theories, process theories, that is not the right way, right? That is not the ideal way. It should have been dealt in the UPSC case. Because UPSC has asked whether intelligence is univariate or multivariate. I am just giving you an example. So it should have been dealt in that manner. Secondly, when I asked about the motivation chapter, motivation has been dealt in a different manner. What does UPSC ask you to deal it? The way it should have been dealt in case of UPSC, motivation, the theories of content, the content theory and the process theory. The whole idea, the way it has been dealt is wrong. And there are students who are not ready to realize that you have to pass the exam, and if somebody is showing you the way out, you should not be disturbed. The problem with many of the student, if not all, few rather, not many. Even if one student is not in the right direction, it gives pain to me. That's why I am saying. The problem is that there are few students who don't want to study psychology to pass the exam. They are studying psychology to appease few people. Your duty is not to appease anybody. Your duty is to do psychology well, and that too from the perspective of the examination. If you score well, the utility of psychology ends there itself. Even if you want to pursue something from the university, from abroad, that is a different, altogether different case. And the thing is that the psychology, the way it is taught now, it will not help you to gain any degree from any university. You are not going to gain anything. This is an unnecessary material which is given. 80% of the material given for most of the psychology classes which are running is total garbage. Hardly 20-25% is useful. But you have been given 1500-2000 pages. The same story happens with the ethics, integrity and aptitude paper. People give lots of theories, but they don't tell you how to apply. Likewise in essay, when I was evaluating the essay, many of you have written too much, or what you are doing is again and again you are writing the same thing. You are giving the perspective once and you are repeating the same again. The here examiner is looking at your ability to explore various dimensions, and if you lack upon that dimensions, then your marks will suffer. We will see in today's class how to counter that, how to ensure that you have more dimensions. Think more, write precisely. What is happening is you are thinking very less and writing. Okay, I think it had got stuck. Now it is all right. So you are writing too much about a point. Yes, you have to give at least 3-4 perspectives. Then you have to write, elaborate. You have to be precise, but elaborate it in such a manner that the examiner is able to grasp your understanding. That is very important. You have to grasp the understanding. Okay, now we'll move forward and see the techniques which are there, which will ensure that you have lot many dimensions. So what we'll do, we'll take few topics from the essay paper test 1 and then solve it. The topic number 1 in your essay paper was test paper 1, when going gets tough. The tough gets going. This is the topic. When going gets tough, the tough gets going. First and foremost, what I have told you, firstly you should grasp the meaning of the topic. What is the meaning? The thing is that when things go very tough, the things become very difficult. The people who are tough, that is those people who can wade through it, those who have a hardy personality. There are people who have a hardy personality. These people, as things become difficult, they become better. As soon as things become difficult, they become better. These kind of people, or those people with other personality traits also, those who can see that there is a lesson, I have to go through it, it is important. A similar topic was ships are not made to stay in the harbor, because It is not the duty of the ship to stay in the harbor, safe in the harbor, but to go through the waves and difficulty in the ocean, because that is the duty of the ship. Likewise, those who realize that their duty is to wade through it and find our aim, target, they will be finding these challenges as opportunities. So whenever the things go tough, they get going. But there are other people who keep on crying that why it happened to me, why it happened with me. What is the problem? The God always gives me difficulties. How should I go through it? I am being punished. This is the approach. Now we have understood the essence of the topic, that what does it want to say. Now what we will do, we will see different aspects of the same topic. What is the topic? Going gets tough, tough gets going. Short form, going gets tough, tough gets going. This is the first perspective. Yes, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. We will have different examples, different perspectives under it, which we will see. But first of all, let us completely explore the topics. Going gets tough, the tough gets going. Then we have, within that only, it's not always that when going gets tough, that the tough gets going. Not always. It's not always that when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Then what are we supposed to look at? Going gets tough, the tough gets going. It's not always that the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Then we will have to see why. Why it happens? That in some situations when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, but it's not always that when the going gets tough, the tough will get going. What are the factors which leads to the tough people going ahead and the factors which lead to the same tough people not going ahead when the things become difficult? And finally, in the last perspective, fourth perspective, we will say the way out. How can we ensure that when the going gets tough, the tough always gets going? To ensure that, the solution. What is the solution? We have to explore our essay through these dimensions. We have created 3-4 dimensions. Under these 3-4 dimensions and perspective, we will see different examples, different perspectives within that. Even if we are able to see 3 to 4 dimensions under each heading, we will have 16 to 20, 12 to 16 perspective minimum. We may have more. Now your essay will be completely explored, completely bloated out, completely defined. Then the way you write description part done, then the way you write your exposition, that is your examples, how argumentative you are, how you build the narrative, then it will matter. Only building narrative with few arguments which does not have any evidence and example will not fetch you marks, or only giving examples not building the narrative will not fetch you marks. That is the problem. So we'll first of all explore the first dimension. What is the first dimension? It was your, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. The examples for it. And as I have told you, there are various ways to see the example. Either you can go through different historical, geographical, economical, social, political examples, or you can go through this another formula, individual level or family level, then what happened at the society or state level, nation level, international level. This way, any of them may suit, any of them. Although it's a philosophical essay, and if you look at the essence of it, the real essence of it, it's only saying that the tough people are having the capability, tough people have the tough people are having the ability to wade through the difficulties and find a way out. But if it's our duty, it is our design to explore the topic, then only we will get marks. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Okay. So, we'll see this perspective. Going gets tough, the tough gets going. Under this. Now, here we'll be using the formula of individual family level. So, you can think of any problem, any hurdle or any difficulty which you saw. Either you faced it or you as a family faced it. You can give example for that, individual level, individual or family level. Now, how to find examples? Suppose you, and nothing comes to your mind in the exam pressure. Then at least you will agree with the fact that COVID-19 was a problem which everyone, every family had suffered in one capacity or the other. In COVID, for few people, going became really tough. For people who are daily wage earners, for people who had some physical infrastructure job, they had to go to the office, and most of us were having the same habit, going to the office. We had our office very near to home. Even then we were unable to go because lockdown was there. We did not know how to work from home, how to ensure that each and everything is in our residence, whatever infrastructure was there in the office. We had to tell all the people to stay at home, all the employees. Their salaries were cut. It became difficult for all the people. The going became tough. In the same situation, when going became tough, we had people like Sonu Sood who kept going, who helped so many people to reach home. Even at your individual level, the tough gets going, even at individual level. The classes, look at the education industry itself. Education industry was confined to the four walls of your institute. You go there and study. But see the innovations brought in this time by edtechs. Education industry, especially Indian education industry, got revolutionized. The tough gets going, but not always, not everyone. One of the very famous institution I know, who were catering to the education industry like anything. There were so many students joining them, but they were unable to cope up with it. Their teachers ran away. They had to close the institute. It's not that everyone will be going, but the tough people who realize that there is an opportunity. There are challenges and adversities, as I earlier discussed with you. Every adversity is an opportunity. So they took it as an opportunity, and that's why they prospered. They were tough people. They had the ability to understand the gravity of the situation. They adapted well. Likewise, you can give example for your family that it became very difficult. Then what innovation did you do? What innovation we did? We had our office. We told our office people to dismantle all the infrastructure. From there, bring it to our flat. In our flat, only one room we made a classroom. Made a green room there with a board and everything. We started conducting classes from there itself. Later on, with the innovations of education, it became easier. Earlier, there was not much of facilities in Zoom or YouTube. The way YouTube has evolved recently, it is very easy to take classes. So many websites and apps came. Likewise, for you, what innovation did you bring? You realize that the people around in your neighborhood, they are unable to get food, or some old people who are living there, their cook was unable to come because she got COVID. What did you do? You supplied food to them by innovative method. So many examples are there, but you have to explore. And why I am leaving it to you to have your own example, because the more realistic your examples are, the better marks you get, because you have more conviction for that. For family, you can say that, suppose your father started a new business, small business. Being a very good experience in the industry of carpentry, he started selling fancy doors, ready-made doors to people. Doors. There are people who do this, ready-made doors of standard sizes to people, because he realized that there is a market. After some time passed, he saw that the doors he is selling for 1000 rupees per piece of door is being sold at 500 rupees only. And who is doing that? The same workers who were working for your father earlier, they left the shop and they started making their own doors, selling it on the road itself, not having any shop. So cost is also very less. Now people started buying doors from him because it's very cheap. Because your father was the only earning member in your family, it became very difficult for you. But you, being a tough person, You gave this idea that why not we do one thing, we collaborate with a distribution channel, offer them some percentage and sell it not in this market but markets which are far from here, where it is not sold so cheaply, because this person who is selling it on the road won't be able to sell it to far away places. He is not having licensing with the distribution channel. You told that why not we go ahead make a very basic kind of website, put our programs, put our products on the website, put it on the Amazon and then sell it to various places. Going gets tough, the tough gets going. This is where these examples are small. The way you build the narrative is very important. You should be a storyteller. The same things told in a different manner. How will you say? How will you say this? One fine day, when I was happily watching TV, sitting on the sofa in my room, I saw my father coming back from work. He had a fake smile on his face, but I could understand that he is filled with sorrow. That day he did not eat much and he went to sleep early. Later on, when my mother confronted him, she realized that he has lost his job, or he is suffering from huge losses since last 6 months in the business. Since he was the only breadwinner for our family, it became really difficult for us. But as the saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. My father rose up to the occasion. Did innovative things. Any particular example? If he was thrown away from his job, he understood that he is very good at teaching. So he started teaching young boys and girls in the neighborhood itself. And he built a very good institution later on. Going became tough, so the tough kept going. Likewise, as it is for the family level, individual family level, we can go to the another level, your district or society or state. Imagine this, state level. State of Gujarat suffered a huge setback when Surat plague came. When Bhuj earthquake came. Sudden emergency, the revenue with the government, with the state government was very less. People were dying, not having good infrastructure. What to do? But then came the leadership of the chief minister, the visionary chief minister, who did not give up. but who saw opportunity in this. Opportunity in this to do something good for the people. Gathered help from neighboring states. Gathered help from the party workers he belongs to. Not only did the state of Gujarat prospered, but it is doing much better than many other states. In fact, if you look at the economic indicators, Gujarat is one of the finest, one of the best states in the country. You can give example, as we earlier discussed, of Armstrong Palm. He was a district magistrate of a northeastern state, district of a northeastern state, where the revenue of the state itself was very less. People were dying because from their village, when they are going to the hospital, the road was not a pakka road, it was a kacha road. That means people took hours to reach to the hospital. There was no well built road. State government could not help. So what this district magistrate thought, the going is tough, let the tough gets going. The tough gets going. He said that no, I am not going to give up. He used his own savings, gathered revenue from people, made a fund, gathered money from people itself, from NGOs, and built the road. Within a month, the road was built. And the examples are near you only. Have you heard this name? Jitan Ram Manjhi, a poor laborer from the state of Jharkhand, who built a road on his own using simple daily use calipers. As we in Hindi say, chheni hathoda, that simple hammer, small hammer. Using that, and he built this road by bringing down a huge mountain. This is one place, his village. Everyone who had to go to the city had to pass this mountain, cross this mountain. He alone, not taking help from any of the laborers, he alone broke the mountain into pieces. It took years. It took him years. But he did not give up. There were so many incidents where he fell from the mountain. He became unwell. But see the sheer willpower through which he was able to make a road, bring the mountain down. The going gets tough, tough gets going. Several examples are there. You just need to think. I'm just telling you, need to think different perspectives, different ideas. Then only you will prosper. Then, the state of Uttarakhand, going through a small state, Uttarakhand. Natural calamities are quite common there because of the hilly terrain, earthquakes, landslides. A new state was built in 2000, having very less revenue. How to build that? Going gets tough. What does the then leadership do? Build a beautiful state around tourism. So much of revenue, mobility of people increases. One of the finest states to live in. We have seen at individual level, family level, we have seen it at societal level or state level. Then we will move to national level. What happens at the national level? National level, several examples, not one, several examples. During the years of 90s, when P.V. Narasimha Rao became Prime Minister, huge financial crisis. We were under debt. Financial crisis, debt, economy slowing down like anything, moving towards not only recession but depression. We had so less money with ourselves but that if we had to sustain with this fund, we won't have lasted more than 6 months. After that, there won't have been any money in the country. Going gets really tough, but the tough gets going. Manmohan Singh, being a finance minister at that point of time, advised Prime Minister Rao that let's adhere to the advice given by World Bank and IMF. Let's open our economy. Let's go to this liberalization, privatization, globalization. We were able to open our economy. We were able to change the whole structure of the economy, of polity, society. Everything changed. The license Raj changed. Going gets tough, the tough gets going. You can give many examples. 1965, Bangladesh war. The East Pakistan was fighting with the West Pakistan. West Pakistan was dominating over East Pakistan, crushing the humanitarian movement, where it was going that Amar Sonar Bangla. Bengali speaking population was being crushed by Urdu speaking people of West Pakistan. They wanted to dominate over East Pakistan. India tried to intervene, but the world community, they wanted to cull Indira Gandhi's movements. No, 1965 we are talking about. We are here talking about 71, sorry, not 65. This is 71, 1971. 1971, the year itself changed, everything remains same. East Pakistan being crushed under the movement of West Pakistan. Indira Gandhi did show huge courage. Asked General Sam Manekshaw, uh, Bollywood movie is also going to be released on this topic, Sam Maneksaw's life. He was an exemplary army man, a visionary leader, and he did something which was almost impossible. And as the saying goes, impossible means I am possible. So these are the people: Sam Manekshaw in 1971, Vikram Batra in 1999. They have shown that yes, I am possible. Impossible means I am possible. And that is the essence of when the going gets tough, the tough gets going as well. What happened in 71? Indira Gandhi, under huge pressure of world community, USA said, don't take any action forward. Otherwise, we will stop all the support we are giving to you. We will in fact bring a motion in United Nations Security Council, UNSC. Indira Gandhi did not give up. She asked Sam Manekshaw, can we ensure that Bangladesh gets freed? Sam Manekshaw said, very less time, ma'am, but still I will do my best. He prepared the army, forced Pakistani army to surrender, and Bangladesh, a new nation, was born. The going gets tough, the tough gets going. Same situation 98-99 with when the Prime Minister Vajpayee was there. We had to conduct our nuclear test at Pokhran, as it is called Pokhran 2. Pokhran 1 was conducted in 1974, the first nuclear test we conducted. Pokhran 2, hidden name given, Smiling Buddha. 1998-99, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was under huge pressure from international community. He asked APJ Kalam what to do. Kalam, being a visionary, a leader, a fighter, said, no, we are not going to be crushed under the threats of international community. We have to conduct this test to ensure that we have minimum credible deterrence. I hope you are aware of these terms. Minimum credible deterrence is you should have enough strength, power and arsenal ammunitions in your nation so that other nations don't dare to breach your sovereignty. That much power, authority, sovereignty you must always have. As a person also, you should be polite, humble, but have that strength within you to ensure that nobody dares to infiltrate into your zone of privacy. You understand this? Minimum credible deterrence is required because Pakistan was having a nexus with China. We were under huge pressure, but still we conducted the test. We hid ourselves. from CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. Its radars, which can detect, it can detect any such test, nuclear test. But we were able to hide it and conduct the test. Situation was tough, but still we were able to do this. Same way as I was talking earlier, in place of 65 it was 71, but in 65 also you can give the example of 1965 also. We were under huge pressure. Pakistan had already attacked our western quarters. We were unable to send our army there. Air Force was unable to assemble its station there. But we did not give up. Going was really tough. But the tough, see the humility of Lal Bahadur Shastri, who was Prime Minister there at that point of time. A humble man, a man of honest and humble origin, but a tough mental framework he was having. He did not give up. Ordered the army to wage the war if it requires so. Going gets tough, the tough gets going. Although it's an unfortunate thing that during the Tashkent Agreement 1966, he lost his life, and under the huge pressure of Russian diplomats, he had to sign an agreement which was rather not favorable for India. Going gets tough, the tough gets going. National we have seen, individual family level we have seen, societal level, state level we have seen the national level now, international level, so many examples. But one I will give you. We have already talked about that. When Pearl Harbor was attacked, Pearl Harbor, the US Navy ship, carrying so many civilians, it was attacked by Japan. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, F.D. Roosevelt, being a fighter himself, he said that we have not to give up. With limited resources, with so many constraints, we will give Japan a very good lesson for life. Though the repercussions of the nuclear attack, we can see that Japan got destroyed, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where the nuclear bomb was thrown. Till the recent decade, Japanese children were born with some or the other deformity. It was tough for Franklin D. Roosevelt to take such decision. With limited resources, the morale of the American people was so low, but still they fought. Because the leadership was not giving up. Going gets tough, the tough gets going. We have so many examples from different perspectives. Now your duty will be to weave it, and we have discussed only one dimension. Going gets tough, the tough gets going. There comes another dimension. It's not always that going gets tough, the tough gets going. Second dimension. Second dimension is, it's not always that the going gets tough and the tough gets going. Fourth is the examples. It's a very simple method through which you can generate so many points, which is not an easy task for most of the aspirants. So what is the example here? The same example of COVID, you can say. Some families lost everything, individual family level, COVID itself. Some families lost everything. Not a single member remained in their family. Or a small kid of 10 years, having lost both the parents, the siblings, nobody remained there. Now, even if the boy shows lots of toughness, where will it lead to? Complete devastation? It's not always that when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. However tough this small kid might be. Devastation? There can be several examples like this. You can give example from your own perspective also. Howsoever tough, in the same dimension we have seen earlier, howsoever tough your father might be, but having lost everything, business, job, even the house was mortgaged, nobody is ready to help. The tough person will not also be able to get going. There are people in this situation, they have lost all the hope. Have you heard of the founder of CCD? He committed suicide, and several people during COVID only, they committed suicide. It's not that the people were not tough, but the situation was overwhelming for them. There was no social support. They were not able to see the complete picture, as we will see in the third dimension, that why it happens that when the going gets tough, not always the tough gets going. We are putting the counter argument now, like a seasoned lawyer. Firstly, you have supported the argument, we are going the counter argument now. Individual family level, you can, but see, the question again is how you narrate the story. The same story can be built. Same story. One fine day when I was watching my favorite show on the TV, sitting on the sofa, I saw my father barely able to walk. He was highly drunk. He entered the house with his clothes torn. He had fell somewhere on the road as well. Did not talk to anyone. He entered his bedroom, did not open the door. After some time, when he did not open the door, we had to call our neighbors. When they opened the door, he was hanging from the roof. He was a tough man. He had fought so many adversities, but this time he was not able to fight. Going gets tough, but the tough did not get going. counter argument very beautifully narrated so that it energizes the feeling within you. See, these things you have to learn. You have to be a storyteller. You know, Steve Jobs was successful not only because he was a tech genius, but also he was a storyteller. If you look at his promotion of iPhone, initially when iPhone was launched in the market, first iPhone, the way he is narrating it, he is saying you work on a laptop or a computer in your home. When you go out to jogging, you are listening to the music. You carry an iPod, which was the culture there, or any Walkman, walking, while walking you are listening to the music. This is the era when the phone were not having this all these music channels. You are not having internet connectivity to listen to the YouTube music. At that time he was speaking like this. So imagine a situation where your laptop, your music system is everything in your pocket. You are walking, listening to the music. You sit on a bench in the park, do all your work, what you can do on your laptop, on the phone itself. And that phone is in your pocket itself, a small phone which you can carry anywhere. There he introduced, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to laptop and music system combined in your pocket in the small size. See the narrative, the story behind this fetches marks. Story, you should have a story. Every business is successful not because of the product only, but the founders have a story to tell. Everyone who is successful has a story to tell, and better storyteller you are, the more successful you will become. Develop that ability to build a story. Imagination, narrative, powerfully caught, not having flowery language, simple language, but catching it, getting the pulse of the people. These things, these lessons can also be drawn. If you watch your movie or series, recently when I was watching this series of Kala Pani, the way they have been able to catch the human emotions is so astoundingly powerful. There is a scene where a father is talking to his adolescent son in their own native language. Speaking Hindi only, but in certain places a different kind of Hindi. As I was saying in one of the uh, uh, explanation of the question, psychology question which appeared this year, the method you have to change. In our area, in Bihar, there is a saying that Bhusgol Vidyarthi Basta Bhari. If you are carrying huge books, if your bag is heavy with the books, you probably are not a good student. A good student will carry thin books. A good student will carry thin material because he or she is very creative and intelligent. To have 2000 pages for a topic which can be dealt in 500 pages is a great disservice to the students. I repeat my points again. So, same kind of language it's spoken. Hindi, it is Hindi, but the father is telling his son that why he is always accompanying him, although he is on the verge of becoming an adult or already become an adult. He says that, see, you are so small, since that time I have so much affection for you that I can't leave you alone. It's not that I want to invade your privacy, but I have so much affection. I like it when you are around me. The way he told, the powerful message given in such a beautiful manner. You should develop this ability. It will help you remarkably in essay. Storytelling. Now, we have seen in our counter argument, going gets tough, the tough does not get going. Individual level, family level we have seen. Now we will see the state level. See what happens in, I am just taking an example, North Bihar. Every year, mind it, there is flood in one or the other part of the state. It becomes very difficult because there is a river called Kosi, which is always shifting its course. So there is flood at this point, this district. People flee from there, go and start settling to this district. The flood comes to the same district next year. It is shifting. It becomes very difficult for people here to survive. Many of them have fled their homes. It has been so many years since our independence. So many chief ministers came in, they tried to solve it. Here for the people living in this region, the going gets really tough, but the tough does not get going. So many tough chief ministers were there, but they were not able to take an appropriate decision, which is important. To have some treaty with the Nepal, if they could make some arrangement with the Nepal, this issue would have been solved, but they are not able to do it. However tough they might appear, whether it is Nitish Kumar or some other chief ministers. Going gets tough, the tough does not get going. Howsoever tough Nitish Kumar might be, he has solved the problem of by bringing prohibition. He has brought the problem of he has brought down the problem of excessive drinking and drinking local booze, locally made wine, which is not good for health, which is toxic for health, because in place of ethyl alcohol which is used there, sometimes they use methyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol is used in alcohol, but if you use methyl alcohol, another substance, it becomes poisonous, toxic, poisonous, so people die after drinking that. So he has been able to solve it. He has been able to solve the law and order problem to a large extent in the state of Bihar, but he has not been able to solve this. You can quote example from your own state or from any other state where you have read the case study. I am just citing you one example. The going gets tough, the tough does not get going. Likewise for the national crisis, we were talking about earlier 26/11, the attack by Pakistani youth, a few youth who entered our territory, killed so many people, devastated the nation like anything. It became very tough for us to save our face. 4 youth, 16-year-old, so much of daring, they took the country to hostage. How? How dare they? P. Chidambaram was Home Minister. He brought so many reforms. He brought these reforms on the paper that this should be implemented. He was a very tough person. Going gets really tough, but the tough does not get going. Not many reforms have come on the ground. Not many reforms have been implemented. You take the case of Nirbhaya. So much of protest, so many laws brought. 2012, when a young lady was brutalized. See, the situation has not changed much. There are so many cases still happening. The going gets tough, howsoever tough the Prime Minister might be. The current Prime Minister also does not get going. Going gets tough, the tough does not get going. International scene. Internationally, terrorism became a menace since the 1980s. So much so that 9/11 happened. The most powerful country of the world, the most powerful building perhaps, World Trade Center, completely destroyed by the terrorists. It became so difficult for the nations. They have made so many arrangements. But still, has the terrorism stopped? No. However tough the leadership, whether it is Barack Obama, Joe Biden, George Bush 1 and 2 both, so many other nations trying to curtail it, but it has not stopped. In one form or the other, terrorism remains. The going gets really tough, but tough does not get going. Why it is happening? Same way, the problem of Naxalism in our country. If army is given a free hand, if there is political will, this problem will completely vanish from the scene within a few days. Mind it, within a few days. Likewise, if there was enough political will to completely curtail and finish terrorism, it would have happened. But rather than that, what happened? USA kept playing the hide and seek with terrorism. To fight with one terrorist, they gave birth to another terrorist. Osama bin Laden was the product of USA. Saddam Hussein was product of USA. First of all, they produce a terrorist and then they kill it. The political leaders, howsoever tough they are, they give birth to such kind of activities. During the tenure of Indira Gandhi, the Khalistani movement, which has become a menace for now, menace for the country, for India, the leader Bhindranwale, Bhindranwale was born during the tenure of Indira Gandhi. She, along with Sanjay Gandhi, her son, brought this man in Punjab to take care of other protesters, to counter other big names who were becoming a menace for Indira Gandhi's government. But what happened? Bhindranwale gave birth to Khalistani movement, and Khalistani movement still remains a menace for the country. As you might have heard in the news, we have a very bad relation as far as the diplomatic relations are concerned with Canada now. India-Canada confrontation, which is going on because of this Khalistani movement. And because of the Khalistani movement, the youth of Punjab are also suffering. Likewise, for the terrorism internationally, USA gave birth to most of the international terrorists. The going gets tough, but the tough is not get going. We have seen the second perspectives. Now we'll come to why. Why does it happen? Most of the things we have already answered, but we'll still will see. Why does it happen that the going gets tough, the situation becomes difficult? Why does not the tough get going? Firstly, there is lack of willpower. Then there is extraordinarily difficult situation. Mainly these two. When the situation is so extraordinary, I mean the situation although can be controlled, but it becomes boundless. That even the human will have to surrender. Or there is lack of willpower from the people at the scene. Then even if the going gets tough, the tough definitely does not get going. These two we will explain through the examples. Then in the last perspective, what we'll say, what is the way out? What is the solution? Because in the conclusion you have to give the solution. Your solution, your conclusion should be exemplary, should be visionary, should be able to show your leadership and visionary quality. What is the way out? When we are giving the way out, the philosopher in you should come up. You will say that life is nothing but a conglomerate or a summation of challenges. Every day we encounter social, economic, health, spiritual crisis. In our personal life, with our parents, siblings, spouse, when we go to the office or colleges or schools, with our teachers, the peer group. Sometimes the situation becomes overwhelming. That is difficult. And it stops our interaction with the world. Our prosperity is stopped. Prosperity suffers. We are surrounded by difficulties, and there is a saying, जब मुसीबत आती है तो अकेले नहीं आती है. You are facing problems from all sides. Economic crisis, social crisis, physical not also well. Here we say the going gets tough. Now, if you have closely watched the life, you have closely watched the lessons given by your family members, the elders in your family, your teachers, your seniors, you have realized that to counter a problem, there are not only the emotional ways, that is reacting to it, but proactive ways, that is problem focused proactive ways. Not every situation requires your reaction, but but you have to be proactive. Coolly, calmly assess all the situation, all the surroundings in a calm manner. Sit with yourself, jot down the points, the ways which can be there. See your short-term measures, long-term measures, and then hit the ground running. Hit the ground running. That is, whatever you have planned, walk the talk. Even if the going gets tough, the tough in you, the tough personality you are, you will keep going. Then you will say, not only should these values be inculcated in an individual, but we as a youthful country should ensure that every youth of the country is having the same mindset, that even if the going gets tough, we'll keep going. The going gets tough and the tough will keep going. By analysis, we will not only do our emotion focused coping, that is reactive problem focused coping. We will not write all these things. I'm just giving you a formula. Don't write technical things in your essay. And we'll seek the social support wherever required. We'll seek the support also. What happens with the adolescents? They don't share their problems with the parents. So many young children, boys and girls both, they don't share all their problems in school, colleges, tuitions, playground, because our parenting is not democratic. We don't want to listen to the problems encountered by the children. We don't give them a supportive environment. If they share, if they have this social support, they will be able to wade through it. Likewise, you as an adult, a mature person, you will see the situations, the problem at hand, you will see the emotional reactions around it, calmly assess it, find your way out, plan for it, and then go for it. As there is a saying that no decision is good decision. Every decision can be good decision if you have decided to go ahead. Decision has been taken. You decided and you are going ahead with it. You have the sheer will to prove that your decision is correct. When Mr. Tata was asked, Ratan Tata was asked, what is your secret to having the right decisions? He said that there are no right or wrong decisions. I take the decisions after assessing it, analyzing it, listening to my gut feelings, and then finally, when I have taken the decision, I see that the decision becomes correct. I prove that my decisions are not wrong by sheer will. I practice walk the talk. As I told you, hit the ground running. You will encounter problem there as well. Then again you may face so many problems, but you don't need to stop, you don't have to stop, you have to continue doing it. This will ensure that the society, the nation, and the international community moves towards a prosperous and egalitarian society. With these words, you will close your essay. As I have told you in the introduction, anecdotal examples, You will give the example of how going became very tough, but the tough in you or your father or your teacher near you kept going. Few more examples from your society, from your state. Then you will build up various perspectives. Then you will come to why it happens that going gets tough and the tough does not get going, or the going gets tough and tough gets going. What are the factors? You will analyze all these. Then you will give the prescription, the solution to it. Finally close the essay. When you give so many dimensions of the essay with various examples and narrate it beautifully, let me tell you, beautiful narration is the secret of very good marks, 150, 160 marks. Beautiful narration. Be a storyteller. Even if you are not doing anything, if you are a storyteller, let me tell you frankly that you will earn much more money, you will earn much more respect in your society as compared to many other accomplished people. Just because you are a storyteller. Everything is a story. Every brand is a story. Every great life is a story. So first and foremost, I have discussed one topic. We'll take up another topic very soon. But the method which I have discussed, you should dissect each and every essay on that. And that storytelling will not come in a day. You need to write on a daily basis or frame your story in your mind at least. One thing which I want to point out specifically is your grammar. See, I'll tell you one thing. I'll give you one instance, one example. Throughout my life, till I entered IIT, I was studying, you may be surprised rather, I was studying in Hindi medium. We had only one book of grammar, that too was introduced to us in 8th class. I wrote my IIT entrance in English, passed the exam because there is not much use of language as such. When I entered the college in the first year, I was called to head the marketing team because of my ability to build a very good rapport with each and every person. When I started talking to few of the people who had done their schooling from renowned schools, I realized that yes, I lagged in the communication department as far as English is concerned. Then I took it up as a challenge. I started reading novels, following one of the best newspapers in the country daily, noting down, jotting down all the vocabularies, watching movies also of English language, that is your Hollywood so called. Try to get the essence if not the accent, and I've traveled a few places in the world, never found any difficulty, and now many people appreciate my communication skills. If those who are staying in UK and USA, I had a talk with some of my seniors who are assistant professor in MIT. Where there is will, there is a way. And mind it, I didn't have much exposure to English till my 8th class. It's not late even now. You should all work on your vocabulary and grammar. It is very difficult to check the papers, your papers which are having very shallow grammatical mistakes. The sentence is powerful, but because of the grammatical mistakes, it became a monotonous, faint effort. But the sheer hard work which has gone behind it, I can see that. The examiner in UPSC will not be so empathetic with you. Work on your vocabulary, work on your sentences. That will give you a huge benefit in both essay and ethics, integrity aptitude paper. With these words, I'll just stop here itself and we'll continue with approach which we are following now in the next class, which will tentatively be held in next week itself. Thank you very much for joining. Have a very good day.